be communicating with you guys in the chat. So, study material science in Germany, very interesting topic. Actually, when we were scheduling it, we did not know that it would be so popular among potential applicants, but apparently around 200 people want to study material science in Germany, at least from this webinar, which is great. These are our guests. Of course, I will be introducing them separately as well. And briefly about my German university, which is organizer of today's session, a Germany's largest study program database, and you can find all the programs, including material science related ones, in the study finder in a short amount of time with relevant filters to be adjusted and applied, and then search results will be visible for you with lots of information about the program and of course course pages themselves. Feel free to check out our articles if you have questions today about visa or scholarships. I will be also sharing some links from our articles page where we break down those topics to even country level, for example, country specific DID scholarships or visa waiting time in XYZ country and so on. So those articles are very informative, and in case you have general questions, feel free to check them out. We are having webinars, you know obviously about them as you are joining one right now. These are subject webinars when we try to connect you with your future program already from your home country or from wherever you are joining us. But we also have general webinars where I or my colleagues present broader topics like scholarship, UniAssist, visa. We also will be starting with new webinars about hopeful start, even about medicine. So stay tuned, and in case you have notifications allowed for incoming emails, you will be informed once something new happens. We are based in Hamburg, Germany. This is our team, and we are counseling in different languages. Please do not take this counseling as one-to-one counseling or doing application on your behalf, but we provide all the information and resources so that you are well prepared for the application. All right, as already promised, I will not take long. I would like to right away give the mic to Professor Dr. Shanxi.
From my side, my name is Shanxi. I'm the Deputy Program Coordinator for the International Master Degree Program in Material Science and Engineering at Hamburg University of Technology. And today, together with my colleague, 𝘱𝘢𝘵𝘩𝘪𝘡, who will also join later for the Q&A session, we will introduce our study program. So first, I would like to start with Hamburg, where our university is located. Hamburg is the second largest city in Germany and is also the third largest port in Europe. And Hamburg is also well known as the third largest center for aircraft production in the world, as you can see this Airbus in Hamburg. And what is special for Hamburg, it is not just about trade and industry, it is a city of science. Around 120,000 students study here at around 30 universities. So this is really a city of science. We also have a lot of research institutions, and recently in total 5 German clusters of excellence. This is a very big actually research project in Germany. So in fact, in Hamburg, we have around 2,500 bridges. That is actually even more than like Venice and Amsterdam combined. So if you like water canals and city life, so Hamburg is really an exciting place for you to live and study. This is actually how I experienced in the past 11 years here. So now let's take a close look at Hamburg University of Technology. So we are a very small but growing university. We have more than 7,000 students, and 1/3 of them are international students. So you will be studying in a really diversity community. And in addition, we also have grown fastly in the recent years. We have more students, more funding, and also much stronger ties with industry and also international partners. And our university has a strong focus on materials. For instance, in the School of Mechanical Engineering, we have more than 10 institutes for new and smart materials. This includes advanced ceramics, polymers, composites, metals, and also machine learning in materials design and so on. This covers from fundamental research to integrated materials system and also to industrialization, and from both experiments and multi-scale modeling. So the combination of engineering and science is the core philosophy for our master degree program. So you will be trained as both scientist and engineer. So our aim is that we will provide scientific specialization for engineers and also application relevant topics for scientists. In the past decades, the main focus is multi-scale materials, including like ceramics, metals, and photonic materials. In the next decades, the main focus will be an exciting research field, very new research field. We call it blue materials. This belongs to the excellent cluster project. There, our aim is that to use water as a nanoscale working fluids to drive new and remarkable properties. So here is examples. So we will combine water together with multi-scale structures like here nanoporous metals, silicon, ceramics, and also hydrogels. When you intermix those structure materials with water at nanoscale, you can reach very new and unique functions like what you see here. This is like a capillary rise of water in nanoporous glasses. So what does this mean for students? So of course, this means opportunities. If you go to the website of this cluster of excellence, 𝘗𝘢𝘕, you can see we have around 50 PhD and postdoc positions open related to this project. And also a lot of PhD positions. This is for students, bachelor and master students. So that means you don't only sit in the lectures, you can really go to the real labs, do exciting research and collaborate with world-class scientists. So how is the program structured and whether it's the right program for you? So here is our a lot of information. So I would introduce one by one. So our study program is a 2-year program, normally starts from winter semester every October. So you can register from January 15th to March the 1st, but you can of course already do a pre-check from December. So this program is in total 2 years, 4 semesters. In the first year, you will mainly focus on lectures and lab classes. And in the second year, you will work in a research team on your project work, master thesis. So you can work at universities or research institutions like Fraunhofer, Max Planck Institute and Hamburg. And of course, you can also work in a company. And the lectures will be taught completely in English, but you can freely choose the exam in English or in German, depends which is the best for you. And what I would like to mention also for the admission requirements, you can find more information about your bachelor degree and your language qualification, whether they are fit the requirements by enter this website. There you can find specific documents. Of course, there is no tuition fee here because we are a public university. And what else I would like to introduce is we have 3 specialization. So you can choose engineer materials or nano hybrid materials or modeling, or you can even choose more than one. And regarding the specialization, actually, I show one example here, engineering materials. You can see those actually, you will have some core courses that you will study together with all the students in this degree program. But for your specialization, you can select some elective courses. But the thing is that you need to fulfill 24 ECTS, so you can select different course based on your interest and where to find much more information. So that is another important website I would like to introduce you. So you need to go to this study plan website or simply Google search 𝘗𝘢𝘵 examination regulations. There you choose the degree, international master degree courses, and the master science and engineering, and the start of your study. There you can find, for instance, the course scheme. If you open this PDF in English, you can see more information about the course. So this main core course everyone need to attend, and also a list of courses in the specialization, in each specialization. You can see more details there. If you want to know even more details relevant to related to each course or lecture, you can further scroll down, go to the module menu. There you can see much more information there. And of course, for each specialization example, you can also find in this website. At the end, I would like to list all these important links that actually includes most of the content I showed in my slides. At this point, I would like to thank you for your attention.
To the bachelor's program in materials engineering, Professor Dr. 𝘱𝘢𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘯𝘨 will be presenting from Rosenheim Technical University of Applied Science.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my name is 𝘱𝘱𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘀𝘚𝑚, and I am a professor in the Faculty of Engineering here at the Technical University of Applied Sciences in Rosenheim, Germany. We have a brand new bachelor's program in materials engineering. It is just starting this academic year. The first students will be arriving in a couple of weeks. And the thing that is really special about this program is that it allows you to start the first few semesters in English and then finish it in German, so that if you are studying here in Germany, we hope that is because you want to work in Germany in one of the great engineering companies here afterwards. And while you can get along a lot with English, it's really helpful to be able to speak German if you're going to live and work here. And so we want the students who are finishing this program to be well prepared to work in Germany or in Austria or in Switzerland in a German-speaking company. And so that's what we try and help you prepare to do with this program. So Rosenheim is in Bavaria. It is a small city southeast of Munich. You can see us on the map there, down in the very southeastern corner of the country, very close to the Alps. We're about 45 minutes away from Munich by car or train, a little less than an hour and a half from Salzburg. And we are a University of Applied Sciences. So we have 10 faculties. Those are like departments. Our university focuses on technical topics, particularly engineering. We also have a long history of working with wood and biomaterials. So besides materials engineering, we also have mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, and so forth. Plastics engineering is another one. We have 4 locations. The campus in Rosenheim is the original one. It's the largest. That is where the engineering school is. We've got about 7,500 total students. About 1,500 of those are international students. So we do have a lot of foreign students who come here, and we have a lot of services that are available to help you sort of adjust to studying in Germany, helping you find housing and things like that. So the advantages of studying at Rosenheim specifically, and at a University of Applied Science kind of generally, we have universities of applied sciences have much smaller classes usually. So it's a smaller student to professor to student ratio. You really get to know the professors. There's a lot of hands-on lab activities. So all of our students in the undergraduate programs, as well as in the master's programs, are in the lab a lot, actually using the equipment and learning how to work with the kinds of devices and production equipment that are used in industry. So it's a really practice-oriented or industrially oriented education, right? We specifically called this program materials engineering because we want to focus on preparing people to go out and work as materials engineers. If you are really interested in materials science, you can absolutely go on and get a master's degree in materials science. There's not that much difference, but we want people to sort of develop the mindset in this program of being an engineer and solving practical problems. So universities of applied sciences have really close connections with industry. That means there's a lot of possibilities for industrial internships and things like that. So we come from a region of Germany where there are a lot of engineering companies, including ones who work with all sorts of different materials. It's a very economically strong region of the country, and there's lots of opportunities for internships and jobs in the area. So here you can see the red star is Rosenheim in the middle. Munich and Salzburg are on either side of us. And I picked out just a few of the companies in our region that deal with engineering materials. So you might recognize some of these names. They are places, right? Automotive, aerospace, electronics, biomedical materials. These are people who work with the production of metals, ceramics, plastics, composite materials, material testing. So no matter what kind of materials you're interested in, we have companies in the region that work in those areas and hire graduates from our university. So I said that the special thing about this program is that it prepares you to work in Germany and in German, but you don't have to speak German before you get here, at least not very much. So the thing that is really special and new that I'm very excited about, because I am not from Germany, I am still learning to speak German too. But the great thing about this program is that there's two kind of options. You can either study in German entirely. And so for students who already speak German, who are from Germany or Austria, they can go through this bachelor's program in the normal 7 semesters, studying completely in German and end up with a degree in materials engineering. For students who come from outside of Germany who don't yet speak German, we have the option 2. And so in this case, it becomes an 8-semester program instead of 7, because the first 2 semesters where you're taking like fundamentals of engineering kind of courses, math, physics, chemistry, engineering, programming, technical drawing, stuff like that. Those classes are taught in English. So you can start right away taking your engineering courses, but those classes, instead of being taught in 2 semesters, they're spread out over 3 semesters. And so that gives you enough time to also take German language courses. So you can get up to the B2 German level that's required to study in German. And then starting from the 4th semester, then the students who started in German and the students who started in English start taking their classes together. And so the rest of the courses are all in German. The 4th and 5th semesters are where you start taking the more in-depth courses, metals, ceramics, plastics, composites, processing, testing, right? Going deeper into what are materials, how do they behave. The 6th semester is normally a full-time internship with a company. And then the last 2 semesters, once you're reaching the end of the program, you've learned more about materials, what you're particularly interested in, that's when you can start to specialize. So there's a number of technical electives that you can pick in the areas you're most interested in, and also pick a thesis topic for your bachelor's thesis that is specific to your interests. So in order to study entirely in German, you need a B2 certificate in German. But to start in English, you need a certificate that says you have B2 level English and then A2 level German. That is pretty easy to reach A2 level. Full-time study, you could get that probably in 2 or 3 months in order to start in summer semester. So the German version starts in winter semester in October, and the English version starts basically a semester before that, right? So then they can catch up. And so the first group of English students will be starting in March, in the middle of March next year. So if this is something you're interested in, you've got time to get that A2 German requirement and still put in your application for next year. In the end, both, whether you do option 1 or option 2, it's the same degree at the end. Everybody gets a Bachelor of Engineering in Materials. If you can see the writing on this, you can this is the standard course plan for the Materials Engineering program. You can see the first 3 semesters with the orange boxes around them. Those are the English taught courses. And then the ones in the yellow boxes are the German language courses. So those yellow box courses, the German classes, those credits don't count towards the degree, but if you take them all and pass them, that gives you the ability to then get into the 4th semester courses that are being taught in German. And because we know, like, if you're studying materials, you don't just want to sit through math and physics for the first 3 semesters. There are materials engineering courses already in the 1st and the 3rd semester. So you get to start learning about materials right away. There are also 5 technical electives. So you can see those in the light green boxes. That's where you get to choose courses that are more specifically based on the materials you're interested in. So here are some of the examples of technical electives that you can choose from. These are other courses on campus, depending on which direction you decide that you want to focus on. If you're really interested in medical devices or in plastics or in sustainability, all of those are options to specialize in. One of the other things that we really, that's special to Rosenheim is that we were actually founded 100 years ago this year to look at production of wood, basically. So we have a lot of research in the area of wood and materials based on wood. So if you are interested in bio-based materials or sustainable materials from renewable resources, we have a lot of options for projects in that area, specializing in that, that type of topic. So here's a student working on wood fibers. Here are some students working on a project using bio-based plastics or natural fiber composites. All of those are projects that students can get involved with. Because the professors here have close ties with industry, we have a lot of equipment that is the kind of equipment that's used in companies. So as a student, you get to come in and use the kind of equipment that is really out of industry and get hands-on involvement with these projects, either as a student worker or during your bachelor's thesis. This is a polymer injection molding machine. I am a metallurgist, actually, so I'm really excited to work with the metal 3D printers that we have on campus. This is some really cutting-edge technology. This is actually the very first device that was produced by this company that does this particular kind of 3D printing from a German company. Here I am with one of my students at our laser powder bed fusion 3D printer. So we've got some really cool technology here in all different kinds of materials that students can work with. As I mentioned, there's a lot of hands-on experience in the lab. So you will be getting into the lab in most of your classes and actually getting to experience the and experience these equipment and projects firsthand. You will also have several opportunities to go in and work with a company. So this is a picture from our career fair on campus. All of the students in our engineering programs have to do a primary or a preliminary internship. So that's 8 weeks, either before you start, you can do it in your home country if you want to, or you can do it during the first couple of semesters during the breaks. And then there's the primary internship, which is 18 weeks. It can be done at a different company. It's usually done during that 6th semester that I mentioned, so you're working full-time for a company. If you're familiar with the German duales Studium idea, where it's sort of like a co-op experience where you are working more intensively with a company, it's possible to do that kind of extended sort of industrial experience with the materials engineering program as well. A couple really quick notes about the costs of coming here. So we do charge tuition starting this year for students who come from outside of the European Union. It's 500 euros a semester plus the 85 euros student union fee that all students have to pay. And then in the table here, you can see the costs of living that we sort of estimate for accommodations and meals and things like that. Rosenheim is a really, really lovely place to live. We are very close to Austria, to Italy, to Switzerland. It's a pretty little town. It's about 65,000 people. We have Herbstfest, which just ended. It's a smaller version of Oktoberfest. So if you like that kind of a thing, it's always a big deal here every year. But it's a really nice town to live in. And the reason that I moved here is because we're so close to the mountains. So there's really beautiful skiing, hiking, bicycling, swimming. It's really nice to get outside here if you enjoy that sort of going into nature. You can check out the link here. This is a real quick overview of how to apply for this program. It uses the Uni Assist website to process all of the applications and the documents to make sure you have everything. But if you have questions about anything, I would be happy to answer them at the end. I've also put up the information here for our sort of student advising who can answer specific questions about applications or about studying here. You can see our homepage for the program. The application deadline for next summer semester starts the 1st of November and runs through the middle of January. And we have a couple of websites specifically for international students. So I hope you found that interesting and useful. Thank you for your attention, and I can answer questions later.
Listen to Professor Dr. Sebastian Seifert presenting Master's Soft Matter and Materials. I will allow you.
So, welcome also from my side. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching us. I'd like to spend the next couple of minutes to introduce another materials-related studying program at not only one, but 2 German universities. And it's focusing on a specific kind of matter of materials named soft matter and materials. Let me start with outlining what we mean with soft matter. It's kind of in the name. Soft matter refers to materials that are somehow soft or squishy in their mechanical appearance. And what may sound like a kind of niche sort of material actually will turn out to be a very broad and versatile and also very useful and, of course, very interesting class of materials in a minute. To outline what soft matter is, in my lectures, I always start with recommending a beautiful textbook to the students. This is this one here, the textbook Soft Matter, the Stuff That Dreams Are Made Of from Roberto Piazza, that catches in one sentence what soft matter is, the stuff that dreams are made of. At a conference, I recently encountered Another scientist, a German scientist who is situated in Montpellier, 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘳𝘵𝘪𝘀, who put it a little differently and said soft matter is the stuff that you're not supposed to bring on an airplane. And finally, these two scientists met each other on yet another conference last year and brought together their two definitions by saying soft matter is the stuff that you dream about bringing on an airplane. No, what is soft matter about? The term soft matter was framed by the French scientist and Nobel Prize laureate Gilles de Gennes, who said in his Nobel Prize speech, what do we mean with soft matter? Americans prefer to call it complex fluids, but this is a rather ugly name because it tends to discourage the young students. So he introduced the word soft matter, and basically soft matter is every kind of matter that has three characteristic hallmarks. Soft matter is materials built up of building blocks that are comparably large, comparably slow, and comparably weak in their interactions. It's basically any kind of matter that is built of building blocks held together by comparably weak interaction energies, typically just a couple fews or tens, mostly up to hundreds of the thermal energies. This is a lot less than classical hard materials. And with building blocks that are comparably large in their size. Building blocks exhibit in sizes of some tens to hundreds of nanometers, which is a lot larger than classical materials built up out of classical molecules or atoms. And due to this large size, they are also comparably slow. The times that it takes them to migrate over distances comparable to their own size is times in the scales of some tens to hundreds of milliseconds, sometimes even seconds, and sometimes even minutes or hours. And this is right in a very interesting time window, namely the time window of most of actual applications. And this means that soft matter can display a rich variety of mechanical appearances, which are somehow described by the word soft, but which actually is a lot more. And given these hallmarks, the class of soft matter is actually very broad. Here is some examples of what falls into the realm of soft matter. Soft matter is actually everything built up out of polymeric and or colloidal and or amphiphilic building blocks or different sorts of hybrids between them. And we see already that it encompasses some of the building blocks of life, like DNA or proteins or so. And there's fundamental reasons. While life is built on soft matter, it basically has to do with the ability or with a specific ability to create higher order structures and functional units out of soft matter building blocks. So soft matter is a material basis of life, and it's not only a basis of life, it's also a basis of the comfort of life. And here we see some products made out of soft matter, which some of which are known to you, that I think we can summarize as materials that have made our lives comfortable. And so we see that this is quite a rich and versatile class of materials for many applications, and there is a lot of companies directly or indirectly involved in creating functional devices, functional goods for the life or the quality of life out of soft matter. Here's just some very big ones located or outlined. And we see they are located in a specific area of Germany, namely southwest, the Rhine-Main region, where we also have in the middle of that circle of big global players, two universities, the Johannes Gutenberg University of Mainz and the very close by Technical University of Darmstadt, who have combined efforts in view of all that to set up a new master program on soft matter and materials. And here is the basic outline of what this program is about. So it's hosted by two universities, the University of Mainz and the University of Darmstadt. And there is also a third partner institution involved, the Max Planck Institute for Polymer Research, a globally renowned research institution very close to the University of Mainz. And in this triangle between these two universities and this world-leading research institute, we have this international master's program intending to equip students with both technical knowledge and conceptual competence on soft matter and materials to really understand the basics of what makes soft matter useful, what makes soft matter versatile, what makes soft matter interesting and applicable for many applications at the interface of chemistry, physics, and materials engineering. This is the reason why these three institutions come together to host this studying program. And the result is a very interdisciplinary, research-focused, and flexible studying program that consists of 4 semesters. It can be started in both the summer and the winter term. We recommend starting in the winter term, but it's also possible to start at the summer term. in English language. The entry level is a C1 level that is required for that. That can be proven in multiple different ways that are outlined in our studying regulations. And that brings together this studying curriculum. So this is how this curriculum looks like when you start in winter. This is how it looks like when you start in summer. So in the first semester, which is basically localized at the place of Mainz, you basically have or will have chemistry-centered content on polymer and colloid chemistry, whereas the second semester features lectures and laboratory classes at the place of Darmstadt, which is mostly physics. And then from the third semester on, you start to work really practically. You already work practically in the first and second term, but the third semester is really practical oriented now, with big research modules that bring you in contact to research that is done at these different institutions. And in the end, of course, a master thesis. Yeah, and here's how it looks like when you start in summer. It's pretty much similar, just with the first two terms switched. Why should you study at these locations? Not only because soft matter is a brilliant class of materials that can do a lot and that can bring you into all different sorts of interesting jobs, but also because of the places of Mainz and Darmstadt, who are both located very close to each other in one of the most vibrant regions of Germany, the Rhine-Main area. And both cities, in my view, combine the charming aspect of being large and small. So in both cities, you find everything that you need for a comfortable life, but they are also small enough that the life is actually cozy and that you benefit from both the advantages of big and small university towns. Mainz is a full university that has 34,000 students and studying programs over everything, over natural science, humanities, and so on, whereas Darmstadt is a technical university that adds an engineering faculty, and both is actually necessary to understand soft matter and to create soft matter. I've mentioned already these big global players, global playing companies that are located in a circular circumference of 100 kilometers around these two universities. And here's another picture where even more companies are named, not only the big global players, but also others. So there is huge opportunities already during the studying program to do internships. For example, to do one out of the two research modules in the third semester at these companies. If you don't want to do this at one of the big numbers of research groups at the two universities and the Max Planck Institute, bringing you already in touch with industry-related potential further perspectives. The application for the studying program requires a bachelor's degree in a related field, which is mostly chemistry, chemical engineering, physics, or materials science, plus a proof of some existing record of expertise in laboratory handling and in molecular science and thermodynamics to make sure that you can follow and can succeed in both the chemistry-related and the physics-related parts of the curriculum. And as said already, English language skills at a C1 level, where there is a multitude of different degrees that we accept as a proof for this. Application deadlines are September 1st or April 1st, depending on whether you want to start in the next spring or in the next fall. And all further information is available on one out of our multiple websites that we have. Here is the website, how it looks like when you enter it via the Mainz host. It has a rather lengthy domain, but you can actually find it easily if you just type in soft matter and materials Mainz into a search engine of your choice. And there is also a secondary platform with the same content, just different style, on the Darmstadt representation, which you can also access via this lengthy domain that you can get from the slides that I will share later on. Or also just type in soft matter and materials Darmstadt into a search engine of your choice, and you'll be directly directed to one of these websites. And there you also find information to different people that you can contact. One person is speaking to you at the moment, Sebastian Seifert, who is the program coordinator on the Mainz side. We have Regine von Klitzing, who is the program coordinator on the Darmstadt side. And we have student advising managers and a departmental advisor. Any of those persons can be contacted by you at any time with questions concerning application, concerning requirements, concerning formalities, concerning contents of the studying program, and questions about living in Mainz or Darmstadt. That was it from my side. Thanks a lot for your attention, and perhaps we see each other on more about the stuff that dreams are made of.
The mic goes to Dr. Flavia Soldera, who will be presenting Advanced Materials Science and Engineering program. Saarland is mentioned, but I know there are some also universities involved, so I just stop the screen share.
Thank you very much, Nino, for the presentation. Yes, I'm presenting this joint European master program in Advanced Material Science and Engineering, which is part in Germany, but in another international places in Europe. So just to begin with Saarbrücken, where we are situated. So Saarbrücken is on the border to France in Germany. It's the capital of the federal state of Saarland with about 180,000 inhabitants. And the advantages is compared to other places in Germany is a little bit cheaper regarding accommodation and lifestyle. So it's rather okay. Here is our university. It is a university in the campus surrounded by the forest. Our university has about 1,700 17,000 students, and 23% of them are coming from abroad. So it is a very international ambient that you find in our university. And you see here also a lot of institutes which are situated also in the campus of our university. These are very important for our study programs. In our Faculty of Natural Science and Technology, we collaborate a lot with these institutes. For instance, Institute of New Materials, Helmholtz Institute of Pharmaceutical Research, Material Engineering Center Saarland, MEX. Also Fraunhofer Institutes, we have two of them related to non-destructive testing and biomedical products or technology. And there is also Korean Institute of Science and Technology. We have also two further institutes situated close to the university, Centrum for Mechatronic and Automatization. So they are all research institutes where our students can really participate in research activities. So during their studies, they can do some internships there, or they can take laboratory classes there, and so on. At our university, we have a bright field of material science and engineering. So you see all the groups here with their leaders. And you see that this group leaders, they are also involved in this other institute, as mentioned before. For instance, here, INM, Institute of New Materials. So we have Professor Weber, Professor Presser for Energy Materials, Electrofluids, and so on. So you see here the different material science are in blue, dark blue, ranging from biological material, biomaterials, scientific method of materials, metallic materials, polymers materials, ceramics, and so on. We have a strong collaboration with the chemistry department also, where you find people working more on solid state chemistry and polymer technologies. We have also systems engineering, so there are some collaborations in intelligent material system, manufacturing technologies, and so on. So you see here, you have a very bright field in material science and engineering, and you can select a specialization during your study program, as I will show you later on. The programs, international programs, are coordinated by the European School of Materials. I am the manager of this European School of Materials, where we take care of all the support for our students, our alumni. We try to get money for providing scholarships and so on. Yeah, so in our university, the part of material science and engineering, we have different programs. So you will be studying together with other students participating in these different programs. You have a bachelor 3 years, a master 2 years, and then you can start the PhD doctorate. Besides that, we have a bachelor called Atlantis, which is an international program with the Oregon State University in USA. We have a program with University of Nancy in France. Here the students, I mean, in all cases, the students start with us and they go for 1 year to France, or they go for 1 year to the United States. These people continue with the master also in France and in other European destinations. Then we have the Master AMAZE. I will show you more in detail this program. We have other exchange program with Argentina, with Colombia, Mexico, also Argentina. So you see, you have a very international field in these material science and engineering programs. Then you can do a PhD within our French-German collaboration, or in a European graduate school, 𝘱𝘢𝘕, also in an European context. So let's go to this AMAZE master program. This is a 2 years program. It is a program offered by 6 different universities in Germany. This is our university, but also in Spain, in France, Italy, Austria, and in Sweden. And then you have 2 years, 4 semesters, 6 partner universities, and 4 different languages. And then you have to select 2 out of these 4 languages. That means you will study in 2 different universities, but they should be in different languages. So you cannot select, let's say, Luleå in English and Austria in English. So you can select, for instance, starting in Luleå in English, and then you can come to Saarbrücken and continue in German. Or you can go to Spain and do that in Spanish, or start in France with French and then come to Germany. So you have different opportunities. But remember, always you have to learn in 2 different languages. This is how our program is structured. So you have an integration week at the beginning where all the people will meet in Saarbrücken for 1 week. Then you have an adaptation phase where you will learn things related to structure and properties, materials characterization, materials engineering and processing. So this is more like having people coming from many different backgrounds, from mechanical engineering, materials engineering, physics, chemistry, and so on. This is like an adaptation phase. After the first semester, you have to select 1 track, specialization track, we call that, related to advanced metallic materials or polymers and composite materials or surfaces and functional materials, advanced processing technologies, and nano biomaterials. Yeah, so it's only 1 track after these 5 different possibilities. After the first year, you will come back again to Saarbrücken, you do a professional summer school for 1 week, and then you move to a second university. And then you continue with this track 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So it's always 1 track for the whole program. And after that, in the 4th semester, you will do your master thesis, which will be a research activity at the university or in collaboration with the research centers that we have at the different universities which are participating on that. Besides this, very important for us are transversal skills. So we have 15 credit points, which is rather a lot for international or engineering programs, where you learn a lot of complementary skills, intercultural communication, science communication. We prepare you for the job afterwards. We do team building and so on. And we do a lot of networking activities with scientific conferences within our partners, alumni meetings, summer schools, and so on. During this integration week, we prepare you to continue your studies in Saarbrücken or in Europe, in the different partners. So you have all these things what we mentioned before, so intercultural training, introduction to the German or the European education system, and so on. During the professional summer school, we are preparing you for the time after the master program. So it is about intercultural training in your job afterwards. We will discuss if it's better to do a PhD or not, career management, and how to apply for jobs. And we do a lot of activities together with our industrial networking. So you will get in contact with our partners from the industry, and then you can get some position directly. Besides that, we offer also some technical summer schools, which are always 1 week course. The last one were related to research data management, for instance, or circular economy and sustainability. So you are also free to participate in these things that we are offering, not only for AMAZE, but for other programs also. A lot of alumni activities. So the idea is that you keep in contact with us when you finish. We do meetings, we do visits to industry, social events, workshops, and so on. Some numbers about our program. So we are running since 2005. We have already 508 students from 58 different countries. 73% are coming from outside Europe. So with a very nice rate of female students, 41%, which is rather high for international for engineering programs. 90% of success rate already, and we got a lot of funding from the European Commission, from the DRD, and so on, in order to provide scholarships for the students. And you see the distribution, so very equal distributed from all over the world: Africa, Europe, Latin America, North America, Asia, and so on. Some other numbers. So 50% of our graduates, they do a PhD afterwards. So there is a strong research part in our program, and 87% of alumni stay in Europe, even though they come from outside Europe, most of them. The people find very fastest jobs, so over 50% of graduates find a PhD position or a job in less than 3 months. Yeah, some of them, even before graduation, they got already PhD positions or jobs in the industry, whatever it is in Europe, or I mean, very wide distributed. So the concept that we have is we want you to come here to learn a lot of technical skills in material science and engineering, but besides that, learn a lot of transversal skills. That's why this multilingual, to learn in 2 different languages, learn about intercultural communication, learn to work together with other people from other cultures. This is very important for us. We do a lot of networking activities with our students, the industry, and our alumni. When you graduate, the idea is also that you keep in contact with us. You can do a PhD wherever, in our partners or in some place outside of that. Or if you are doing some job, you can also come back to us. We will offer you a lot of workshops, different lifelong learning activities, and a lot of networking possibilities so that you can get in contact with our students or with our former students and industry partners. The application for a M.Sc. So the requirements is a Bachelor of Science or equivalent in the field of material science and engineering, so or physics, chemistry, or other material science or engineering related studies. So 3 years minimum study period before coming to us. So it can be mechanical engineering, it can be other kinds of engineering discipline, metallurgy, it can be also, we have people with a background in electronics, for instance, it's not a problem. Language knowledge, very good language knowledge of the entrance university. So it depends in which university you are going to start the program. It can be in French, in Spanish, in German, or in English. So for this first university, very well language knowledge is required. And if you have already some knowledge of the second university language, it could be an advantage. But if not, you can learn the second university, the language of the second university during the first year and during also the semester breaks. In Germany, if you come here, at the end of the program, you will have to show a B2 level. So you can start with a lower level, let's say B1. Exams can be done in English. There is a lot of help for the students, but you have to learn German during the program in order to satisfy these requirements. Deadlines from people from EU, it's 31st of March 2026 or May for the different depends on the university. So this is in Sweden, this is other 5 universities. And from third countries, also non-EU countries, it is Luglio, 31st of March, while the other university in this case is the same dates. Here you find our homepage where you can find all the information, and the application is through an online formulary that you can follow here in this QR code. Yeah, here you can follow our activities about all the programs that we have about EUSMAT, European School of Materials, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Soldera, for the presentation. I want to thank all the speakers for also sticking to the time. So we are super in time and we have time for the Q&A. So thank you very much for this. Now let us open the Q&A, which is live Q&A. And I already see 16 answered questions, but maybe let's discuss some of them since we have time and some of the questions could be repeated as well. For the last program from Dr. Soldera, I also put the, because I saw questions about fees, and so the link to fees and scholarships is in chat. And there is also an AMASE test to see if you are good fit for the program. And in case you want, you can also open this link and check that out. This is also available there. Now let's start with the questions. The first one was from Asma asking, I have background in chemistry, need to learn some things related to pharmacy. So today's programs are not directly pharmacy related, but in case there are any modules that could, Asma, then during your study courses take, feel free to unmute yourself and mention which program it is, but I couldn't hear it from the presentations, at least with my knowledge or understanding of the programs. Okay, then if something comes up, we will discuss it later. The question is, coming from a chemistry background, will I be well prepared for the physics heavy parts of the program, or should I catch up on certain topics before starting? I believe this is a question for Professor Seifert, because at least the next question is directed to you, and according to time, it should be somewhere in between.
Yeah, so basically a physics degree qualifies for the program. So formally, this is okay. And this is the reason why we have set up this extra qualification in terms of that some knowledge on molecular science or thermodynamics is required, plus some laboratory skills to make sure you can follow this chemistry part. So if you never had any chemistry related classes in your physics program, neither theoretical nor practically, it makes little sense to enroll for the program, because then you will have trouble following the chemical parts. If you have had this, then it should work.
Thank you. I think it was vice versa. The person has chemistry background and is afraid of physics parts.
Okay, then you can just invert my answer, and it is also applicable in inversion. Yeah, so usually in a chemistry bachelor, you have some physics classes, theoretical physics classes, and those should be sufficient to follow the physics part of the studying program. You also have contents in physical chemistry, and if you never had any problems, any bigger problems with physical chemistry, I see good chances that you will enjoy this program and also successfully master the program.
So let me stay with you for one last question in this round. Would you say the program is better suited for students who want to go into research, or are there strong industry-oriented applications as well?
Absolutely both. So it's soft matter is broad enough that it covers everything, and also this program and the environment that it's located in can very well serve everything. So I've shown to you this map with this huge number of companies that are in the direct circumference, where you can do application related, or where you can explore application related perspectives. And what I didn't show graphically, but I can mention it here, we have a huge number of research groups at these two institutions. So in the chemistry department of Mainz University, there's 27 research groups. In the physics department, there's about 40 research groups. At the Technical University of Darmstadt, there is a similar big number of research groups in chemistry and physics. And then we also have the Max Planck Institute there, which has also a big number of research groups, covering all different sorts of research, many of which being soft matter related. And there you also have huge possibilities to engage in more academic or more fundamental research. Plus, what I didn't mention, and thanks for the ability or for the chance to mention it here, we have a collaborative research center on that very topic. We have a collaborative research center in our university on defects and defect engineering in soft matter. I'm the spokesperson of this, so I should have mentioned this. So this is about repeating the success story that hard matter has already underwent. Hard matter is very successful in making use out of defects. The way of how we communicate at the moment is based on defects. Yeah, it's based on the doping of silicon with either N-type or P-type defects, which actually make semiconductivity possible in those materials. And we ask ourselves, can we also, or not can we, how can we also make a similar success story in soft matter and make defects introducing new effects? And that alone is a big collaborative research center bringing together many research groups where you can find lots of opportunities to research. And already during the studying program, for example, as a student research assistant also.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Dr. Solder, I see you you are typing or want to answer the question about which university decides on application selection.
Oh yeah, I mean, the selection is done, I mean, the student itself, they select which university they want to study, so they say what are their preferences, and then there is a commission together with all universities which make the selection of the students.
The next question for you is that, Dr. Soldera, what would you say is the single biggest challenge students like me coming from chemistry, not engineering, face in this program? Thank you for your time.
I think it's, well, I mean, we have many students coming from chemistry. We have also, there was a question related to biomedical engineering.
Yes.
We have also some people with biomedical engineering background. I mean, if you are good in mathematics, in physics and chemistry, as Professor Seifert says, it's okay. You will manage that. And okay, there are some activities related to more this engineering part, mechanical engineering. I mean, that should be not a problem. In our case, all the courses, they are more like eligible courses, so you can select your path somehow during the program. So you have a lot of flexibility, which your choices of courses, what you do. But I don't see any problem.
Thank you. Professor Shi, the questions related to the program were very detailed, in a detailed way answered by Ulrike, and thank you, Ulrike, for this. But maybe we could mention there, at least I see two questions related to the pre-check and like the documents, what's the importance of the different documents when applying to the program. So the question was one, in case others also want to know about it. For the online project assessment, is it purely document-based or does it involve a subject test as well? And the answer is just documents, but maybe if you want to add anything in this regard, like is it super important to prepare well and so on, you could just mention, Professor.
Yeah, this is pure documents, so there is no interview. So actually, you could first do the pre-check, so whether your GPA and also your language fulfill the requirements. Afterwards, you can submit your application, and this all those applications actually we can see like in the e-version, in like your CV and all required documents that already mentioned in the website. So this is all like based on the documents. There's no like interview.
Thanks so much. Professor Schneeweiß, I promised Bharat, I think Bharat is from India, and was asking about test AS. I know probably you don't go through the like documentation process, but in case you know, so Bharat wants to know, is it possible to apply to Rosenheim without 𝘗𝘓𝘺𝑗𝑔 with submitting this test as? So I wrote that the university that usually accept this do not include Rosenheim, but maybe you have insider information. I don't know.
I do not. If that is the information you have, I assume that's correct.
Okay. Then let me see if yeah, there was this question for you, and you answered it in detail as well, about mechanical engineering. Maybe somebody who is graduating from high school wants to also have this differentiation voiced by you. So what's the difference between this program and a more general mechanical engineering degree?
Sure. So there are a lot of similarities, especially in the beginning of the program. So the first couple of semesters are more or less the same. So the students would be taking math, physics, computer programming, electrical engineering, sort of introductory technical drawing, thermodynamics, things like, so statistics, quality control, simulations, all of those courses are going to be the same in the materials program as they are in a bachelor's degree for mechanical engineering. The difference is that the most mechanical engineering students only take one course that is actually called materials, or that is based on understanding materials. And so everything they know about materials gets shoved into one class. And then they spend more time thinking about things like fluid flow or heat transfer in a machine or in air conditioning systems. How do parts in the system work, either with moving water or moving liquids or moving mechanical pieces, right? How do you design components in a device? In materials, we talk about what are those components of that system actually made of. So what kind of steel do you want to use? What kind of steels are there? How do you heat treat a certain steel in order to give it the right properties that you want? We also talk a lot about properties, right? So strength, hardness, toughness, stiffness. What are the differences between those properties? What kind of design situations do you need to use stiffness versus hardness? And how do you pick a steel or heat treat a steel to give it the properties that you need for a specific application? How do you then test the steel to make sure that it has the right hardness for a specific application? And the same thing goes for plastics, ceramic, composites, and that kind of thing. So rather than looking at the entire systems, we look at the materials that are used to make components of different systems.
Mhm. Professor Shi, the question that came earlier was about the practical part, and the question was if there is internship integrated, and then Ulrike mentioned there is no internship but lab works. However, I believe there are still options to do internships in direction in Hamburg, especially. So it's not declined by the program, or it's still possible to do it voluntarily, right?
Yes, yes. And I also would like to add that this project or study work, this is quite similar to internship, and because you can do it not only in universities, you can also do it like in a company or in research institutions like Fraunhofer or Hamburg. There, this is quite similar. The topic is more advanced than internship, I would say. So this is also, yeah, quite useful if you want to later not pursue academic career, you pursue some industry career. This is also quite nice. So you can also do your thesis work in a company or research institution instead of at universities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. There are a few broader questions. First is about course duration. For all programs, the course duration can be visible on course pages, and yeah, I will not stop on this question now, but it's that you can just check the amount of semesters, and it also depends on you how long you will take to graduate from a program. The second question was about chemistry. Is it possible to apply with chemistry background? Yes, it's possible. Of course, for bachelor's programs, then you don't have chemistry bachelor, but even if you did a bachelor, still your high school will be taken into account. So this is relevant previous degree. Another question was about GPA, and here a question to all of you: do you have GPA requirements for your programs? Let's start with Professor Seifert.
No, we don't.
Dr. Soldera?
I mean, if we provide sometimes scholarships, it depends on the year. And in this case, you are competing with a lot of people. And in this case, it's very important to have very good GPAs.
Okay.
There is not an absolute minimum requirement, but we consider the whole application, not only the GPA.
For bachelor's program, I assume there is no requirements, so you just need to have university entrance qualification. And Professor Shi?
Yeah, similar from our side, so we don't have a fixed value, but we normally need to have a very good GPA due to the competition. And also we also count not only your GPA, also other like qualifications. Of course, you can check whether your GPA and add together with other like conditions fulfilled by this pre-check. So you can pre-check and then you can see your chance and whether you fulfill the requirements. So.
Another broad question was about dormitory suggestions. I just put a broader link of 𝘱𝘢𝘕sucht in case you want to also see shared apartments, but then you can check Studentenwerk of certain cities and universities, so where the dormitories are located. And I'm sure all universities and programs also have international offices where counseling in this direction is provided. So on the pages of programs, I'm sure there are directions on where you can find dormitories, and The second you get the admission for the program, please apply for a dormitory because it's cheaper. And of course, people are hunting for the places, and usually they are even you even have furniture in terms of bed and a small kitchen. So it's really nice to have a dormitory, and I was lucky to live in one. So yeah, information is available online. One link is in chat. Then just check Gutenberg and the city or the university name, and you can also find more information. And the last question for today is for Dr. Soldera. I never studied in two countries before. How do students usually cope with switching universities halfway through? Is it stressful academically, or is the transition smooth?
Yeah, I mean, the program is prepared in this way, so we have a lot of support for the students. So the most difficult things are dormitories, but the international office support for that, and visa application in case you are not from European Union, but we have also a good procedure for that. So you get a lot of support from the universities. And then, of course, you have to adapt to the new situation in the new countries. But I mean, many people, they manage that. It's not a problem to do that.
Okay, thank you so much.